Hey yo, shout out to the bro ST, Staten Island, Parkhill, West Brighton. You heard the whole Staten Island. If you from Staten Island, leave a comment. Let me know what projects you from. Let me know what side block you from. Let me know what high school you went to. You heard? Comment gang, tear this up. You already know what I need. Slim Blunt gang in the building, what's poppin'? Leave a comment, let me know what you smidoking on out there. You heard? If you from NYC, throw them Statue of Liberty emojis up on there, man. Let me see them Statue of Liberty joints, man. I know New York is in the building. You heard? If you enjoy what I do on this channel, man, feel free to send me a Cash App donation, $ Gem Pop fam. You heard? Send me an email at thegempopllc@gmail.com. If you got some business, if you need some promo, you got a brand, some music, a video you trying to push, holla at me. I get you seen by thousands and thousands of individuals. And that's a whole fact. Z-Lord, Z-Man.
That's why I'm still alive. That's why I got shot in the face and chilled for 5 hours before I went to the hospital. Had my eye in my pocket. But that's a whole nother story. We ain't gonna get into that. Oh man, thank you, Jesus. Y'all can jump me, but if somebody cuts me, I have to find out who's running this house and shoot your family when I get home. I have to. If y'all niggas cut me. Alright, so boom. So listen, I'm first and foremost, I want to address the most important thing. Where in the world was my mother? Where my parents when all of this stuff was taking place? Because I'm still in adolescent times, i.e. I'm still a child, right? So the fact of the matter is my pops, I don't know my pops. You know what I'm saying? He ain't around, you know what I'm saying? I needed my father like he needed a needle type shit, as the young people would say. So we got that going on. And my mom's had 2 jobs, but my mom's had 2 jobs, one on the knees, the other writing letters to Pataki. Please call off the D's, right? We got that going on. Mommy got 2 jobs. She worked for the state and she's a cook. Mommy's at work. Mommy come home to sleep. She raising 3 children, and my brother eat a whole box of cereal in one sitting. All right, we passed that. Praise God. Thank you, Jesus, for my mother, right? Boom. I'm on Rikers Island. I get locked up for a gun charge and some other shit. Now, mind you, I done ended up in the shootout with Dre. Dre had a 32-shot tech. God bless my son Dre with the Y. Don't you ever spell his name with an E. You could just call him Y if you want. God bless his soul. I had a shootout with him. He had a Tech 9, a German Tech. I had a 2-shot Dillinger, but niggas ain't no. Oh, excuse me, for the jail niggas. There I was with a 2-shot Dillinger. Alright, skip that. We're gonna fast forward that. I get locked up. Now this is the return after the molestation. I get locked up. My time in the street was short-lived. Boom, I get back to the island. When you get to Rikers Island, there's a series of cells lined up against the wall. And each cell you go to, the first cell you go into, they just take your money and stuff like that. But each cell you go to, you lose a little bit more of who you are. When I get to that first cell, they have inmates that work on Rikers Island in that area, and they are called intake workers. They deliver the food, they put the property in the bags, things like that. They work down there. As soon as I get in that first cell, before they can even take my money or anything, 2 intake workers walk up in there. Yo, UST? Yo, my man, UST? Dre with the Y is on the island. His name is Bloody Fingers. He got the shit in the smash like broken glass. I already know when I get there, niggas is gonna be on my ass like a pimp on the Virgin. You hear? I know that. I see his shorty in the courtroom when I'm going to. I know he's calling her. I know he got the 4 building in the smash. I know I'm in big trouble. I get to the island. They run down on me as soon as I get to the pens. I say, ST? Hell no, I ain't ST. And I'm tired of niggas saying I look like this nigga. Wait till I catch him. Right? Immediately I go into character. I had serious beef with this ST character. I was too light to fight and too thin to win. These niggas been locked up a year or 2 going back and forth to court. They brolic. I had to get my weight up. Boom, all right, I'm a fast forward. I end up in the Sprungs. They run up on me. Yo, you ST? No, I'm not ST. Dre got 3 loonies on my head, man. 3 loonies for niggas to cut me. I always negotiated for them to jump me and let me out of there without getting scratched. You know what I'm saying? I got a spill when I'm in between the A and B gate, ladies and gentlemen. That's an area where it's like 2 cells. It's like 2 gates you in between before you enter the actual housing unit. When you're in between the A and B gates, people will come and press you, ask you, yo, who you be, gang, check you, whatever, act like they from another gang. And between the A and B gates, I let them know from the beginning, I have bud, I got this, I got that, I got this. I do not pay rent. This is adolescent times. You gotta pay rent to stay in jail. You gotta pay the other adolescents back in. They probably still doing that shit. I do not pay rent. I got this, and that. Y'all can jump me, but if somebody cuts me, I have to find out who's running this house and shoot your family when I get home. I have to. If y'all niggas cut me. Y'all could jump me though. I got jumped damn near everywhere with this spill, but none of them cut me. I was raised by the same dude that God bless the dead Charlie Rock from Harlem. Him and I were raised by the same dude. I was playing Rikers Island before I ever went to Rikers Island. The last story I told you, I had already been prepped on every single thing we went through. I knew that exact course of sequences was going to take place. So now I get to the Sprungs. They ask me, am I ST? I say no. They know I'm lying. They could see the fear in my eyes. They wanted my boots. I couldn't give them my boots because in the back of my boots, I had 6 Gem Star razors that I knew I was going to need to keep Dre and them niggas off my ass. Right? So I'm not giving up these boots. Let's go in the bathroom. Let's fight. Now, pause. When they called me to the bathroom, that pussy nigga almost came back out of me because I said I could let these niggas slap me and go back and forth to court for a little while and then ease up out of here. But nah, we ain't doing that. Went in the bathroom, got it on with one dude. I didn't even stay in there long enough, like it was just a little lame scuffle. But in the midst of the scuffle, I had the bright idea to say, fuck it, I'm just gonna cut him. He ran out of the bathroom and told the CO on me immediately. They run in there and blitz me, and that's that. Now I end up on the waiting list to go to the box because there was so many people in the box back then that you had to wait to get in there. So they sent me to one upper. They sent me to one upper Captain Restraint with some real grizzly goons. You hear me? These niggas have been, I'm telling you, when they going back and forth to court, this is before Quick Chill. Now, Quick Chill is something that I think Pataki put in there, and that's basically when they just started feeding us straight soy in prison to make us sterile and shit like that. But prior to that, they were serving real food. These niggas was cornbread fed, and I was too light to fight and too thin to win. I had to duck who I was damn near. Like 4 months of that bid, I had to duck who I was. But what really got me out of everything is, for one, I'm trying to figure out a way to mesh this in perfectly for the people. But I'm just going to put it like this, and I'll get to this a little bit later. In one upper, I was fighting a dude that was so brolic. Because as soon as I came into one upper, Captain Restraint, everybody in there is tough. So I know everybody, so I know I got to fight. So I come in and tell them I want to fight. And they line up a selection of dudes for me to fight, and I'm judging wisely as if nothing ever surprised me. This nigga got too much fire in his eyes. Nah, he too big. I ended up in the lame scuffle in the back of the tier with one of them dudes, and then they let me in the day room to go eat or whatever the case may be. It really wasn't a such thing as a day room dude and one upper because everybody there was tough. But one memorable moment, I got into a scuffle with a dude over my pen number, and because they knew I was ST, but they couldn't prove it But anyway, this dude put me in the full Nelson. This nigga was so big, and he was choking me with the full Nelson. I done been in many different wrestling moves. The full Nelson is not a chokehold. I said, this fool is on me, but he was a dark skinned dude. It was a brolic light skinned dude in there. I can't remember his name, but he was one of them it ain't right or right type of brothers. Cause I was mad skinny, you know what I'm saying? And he got son up off me, yo, and he was going to champion my cause and fight son. Son ain't want none of that. Cause only thing I was saying is let me go. Let's start fresh. Let's start fresh. You got this. Let's start fresh.
What year you said this was again? What year is this again?
Cause Digger and them was there, so this was what year was this? This might have been about like 9/7. I gotta look at my rap sheet before I call you again. Yeah, but that shit longer than Yao Ming. Y'all heard? I gotta look through the archives shit. But yeah, so after that, but what happened was Dre, now this is important, right? So now anyway, I end up going to the box. This is a good hiding spot. I get beat up a couple of times in the box. I'm trying to think if I won any when I was down there. I was so small, I had just came in and I was learning how to fight. I don't think I won too many down there because it was another big brolic dude down there. And we got into a little something, but what happened was I ended up going to the 6th building because I ended up getting a city bullet for that robbery. I went to the 6th building. And when I was in the 6th building, Bloody Fingers got stabbed in his back 2 times by a coward because yo, listen, this dude Dre with the Y is so official. Just when I thought that I was the slimiest slug in the maggot pile, he would top me every time. This was my man. This dude was he was so greasy. His light was so bright, I couldn't snuff it out. He gave me 6 million reasons to knock his block off, but I couldn't do it. That was my son. I love that dude. He was a true grease ball, you know what I'm saying? So anyway,
he's from Park Hill?
He was from Park Hill. Dre with the Y. That's Meth Little Man for real. Like that's Method Man Little Man for real. He's a part of the Loose Links. You know what I'm saying? That's Meth little rap group or whatever that he was funding. And Dre was very talented and Meth believed in him. And I appreciated that. You know what I'm saying? That's why I never did. That's one of the reasons why I never did nothing to Dre. Yo, this nigga got me jumped at least 7 times on that island when I was learning how to fight. Niggas was coming for that. He had 2 or 3 loonies on my head. And he was getting the bag on the regular. He never stopped, but he was a bully, so he bullied this one dude so much that son stabbed Dre in the back. He couldn't walk for a while. I'm in the 6th building. At the time, they was using the 6th building as a quasi-PC. Quasi is an educated word for almost, like quasi-moto, almost man. That's what I feel like after that gunshot to the face sometimes. People treat me like I'm quasi. Yo, I'm a human being, y'all. But anyway, so son stabbed Dre up, right? Stabbed my son Y up. They sent him to the 6th building. They sent son to the 6th building with me. Soon as I find out that he's the dude that stabbed Y up, I stab him up and send him back to the 4th building. Fuck out of here. You ain't stabbing my son Y and then walking past me like life is a peach. You think this is Mr. Rogers' neighborhood? Hell no. I stabbed that nigga up and sent him right back over there. When I came home, because Y went home before me, and I got my weight up on the island. Yo, ladies, how many of y'all got y'all box eating on C-74 visit for? I do this gutter like a whitey, you hear me? And C-95, this is what I do in front of everybody. Ask about me. Yeah, and the lady told me, one of the ladies, a very prestigious lady at this point in her own right, told me she don't got no problem with me admitting that we did some things, monumental things, on that C-70 visit floor. But anyway, I come home from that. I creep up on Dre, catch him in the back of the building or something, staircase or something, and click on him. He look at me, he freeze, he know what time it is. I look at him, I said, bro, you tired, man, come on. And took him to my house and we sat down and had something to eat and went to sleep. This is my son. I got one of my childhood friends from my youth. He still want to hurt one of my sons for getting him jumped one time. Not even for getting him jumped, for letting him get jumped. Nah, man, this is real live gang shit.
What you mean? You was beefing with You was beefing with Dre with the Y, and
and what? Go ahead.
And that was still your man though, like.
That's my man. I love Y. You know what I'm saying? I love him. He sent all them dudes at me the whole time I was on the island. That's part of the reason I came home and knew how to fight. I went in there and wanted to learn how to fight because before I went in there, Laz, I was sitting in the GED room one day. I was sitting there waiting to go into GED school, and I said, man, fuck that. I get that shit when I go up north, and walked out of there. I had no felonies at the time. That was my man. He sent all them dudes at me. Dre with the Y put 2 or 3 loonies on my head the first time I really stayed on the island. And dudes was coming at me. That's why I was never ST. I was always another name. And by the time dudes found out I was ST, I was so funny, and I had the bag too. And I was popping. I was getting it shaking. Like, not for nothing, I'm the first blood to live in Mar 4 Lower. For real. Ask KB, ask Ernie B. You could ask Crime. You could ask Jalal. You could ask Booger. I'm the first blood to live down there. You could ask Chappie, whoever's still alive, ask them, and they gonna tell you S was there with a blunt in the bed, holding a rifle like he was hunting deers. That's Profess right there. Give him his credit, y'all. Whew. Alright, yeah.
Why you and Dre with the Y was beefing in the first place? Like, why dudes was looking for you when you came on the island?
Nice watch. Yo, I was drinking, smoking, straight West Coasting. That's all I could say. I was tripping, he was tripping. Dre and I used to have pissing contests. I'm telling you, we was trying to see who was the slimiest slug in the maggot pile. Yo, that was my son. Damn, that was my son. Yo, I sit there, Laz, I tell these stories to the dude who killed him, you heard? Yeah. He got mad at me one time. I told him that nigga Dre is my man. What the fuck is you talking about? And it's crazy, Laz, because if I was home, man, that's the first time I was happy to be in prison. If I was home, niggas know with it. Thank God, man, he spared me a lot, yo. My story is a story of mercy. Spared way more people, y'all know that. Bad people, they can't name one person that I robbed from anywhere on Staten Island that wasn't violating the hood that they from. The people, I'm the people's champ. That's why I run around like the Joker. I'm the people's champ. For real. Yeah. I don't care about money or none of that. Only thing I care about is how the story is told, and that my peoples that I love and other people learn and better themselves. That's all I ever cared about. That's why I'm still alive. That's why I got shot in the face and chilled for 5 hours before I went to the hospital. Had my eye in my pocket. But that's a whole nother story. We ain't gonna get into that. Oh, man. Thank you, Jesus. Laz, man, I appreciate you.
When you said you went home and you clicked on him, like, what you mean? Like, he thought it was gonna be beef and then you deaded it right there?
He knew. You recording this?
Yeah.
He knew that his fate was in my possession. He knew what time it was. He knew. He know that. Like, not for nothing, why is my son? He know that, man. He know what time it is. Everybody know that, bro. Like, dudes wasn't on my level. They know that. They don't leave the hood. And not for nothing, this is for you. I meant to touch on this, Laz. Most of my friends were animals as a child. I was in the woods watching the cats, watching the eagles. That area back there is called the fields. I see how the squirrels play, how they frolic. You know what I'm saying? I watch how the dogs interact with themselves, the cats, the fish, and I watch the way they hunt and things of that nature. So when these dudes is playing games with me, I'm sitting on the fire escape listening to their whole conversation for hours, like the cats do. They know that about me. Yo, Laz, I was sleeping under cars back then. I had official pillowcases. I would sleep under your vehicle and roll from underneath that shit and escort you back in the house for your possessions. That's the way I was living at that time. Them niggas wasn't on timing like me. I done dropped down on all of these dudes so many times just for wreck. I was following people for wreck, for fun. So he knew I could have knocked his head off. I let him live. That's my son. And getting jumped and stuff, I've been doing that my whole life. That wasn't about nothing. Ain't nobody cut me. And I learned how to fight, made mad good friends. That ain't about nothing. That was some gang stuff, you know what I'm saying? He was gang banging. I was Wolfpack at the time. That's it. We in jail, nigga. Let's gang bang. What up? When I got my weight up, niggas left me alone. But then I end up see him, I'm always Wolfpack to him. Even when I'm blood, to him, I'm Wolfpack. And to him, I'm pussy, to keep it 100. Even when I beat him up that time, that's why we was fighting. He kept saying I was pussy. I beat on Tarjee Street. If he was somebody else, I would have left him there, Kennedy style, with his memory out. Mike Monty in my mind, I'm out here. Love y'all. 100.